What is going on, everyone? Today we're going to talk about an ancient Egyptian city named Memphis. Okay, so we're actually talking about Memphis, Tennessee. Most people don't know, but Memphis was actually named after an ancient Egyptian capital city that sat along the Nile River. Memphis is located along the Mississippi River and is home to about 652,000 Egyptians. I mean volunteers. That's what they call themselves, volunteers. Those 652,000 people make Memphis the largest city on the Mississippi River and the second largest city in Tennessee, as well as the 25th largest city in the United States, and the greater Memphis metro area is the 42nd largest metro area in the United States, with a population of about 1,300,000 people, and that was in 2017 numbers. Being a port city along the Mississippi River, Memphis developed into the world's largest cotton market and the world's largest hardwood lumber market in the world. Into the 1950s, it was also the world's largest mule market. Some people still complain the city smells like it's selling mules. Memphis is a strange city with a lot of history and friendly people. Airbnb ranks them as the 6th friendliest city. Memphis has a low cost of living and more than enough things to do. Memphis is a great city, but it's not for everyone. If you're thinking about moving to this southwest corner of Tennessee, you should watch my top 10 reasons not to move to Memphis, Tennessee. Number 10. The Pyramid. This one isn't as much a reason not to move as it's something you should know before you move there. Memphis has an arena that is shaped like a pyramid. The structure plays on the city's namesake in Egypt, which is known for its ancient pyramids. Memphis was the capital of ancient Egypt for over 8 consecutive dynasties during the Old Kingdom, so a long time back. The city's just trying to play off that theme here. Here's the deal. Even though the people of Memphis are extremely friendly, some get a little irritated when you ask too many questions about it, and especially when you're laughing at the situation. I have a cousin who lives in South Haven, Mississippi, which is right across the state line. Over the years, he's worked at a couple of the big hotels in downtown Memphis. He said they used to have different sports at the arena, at the pyramid basically, and every night someone from out of town would bring it up like it's the strangest thing they've ever heard, and they'd be laughing, "Why you got a pyramid in the middle of a southern city? What's the matter with you people?" It was always something like that, he said. Now it's a giant Bass Pro Shop. No sports going on there anymore, but I mean, the Bass Pro Shop makes total sense because the ancient Egyptians were avid bass fishermen. And stop typing, I'm joking. They fished perch and catfish for the most part. No word if they noodled. Number 9. You're gonna need a car. Memphis doesn't have much of a transit system. Once you get outside the downtown area, public transportation really kind of sucks. It's sort of just there to shuttle out-of-towners from tourist spot to tourist spot. You're going to need a car and some car insurance and all that other good stuff. Make sure you get cheap insurance. Insurance sucks. I hate insurance. The bus system outside of downtown sort of makes their own schedule. And when I say makes their own, I'm not talking about the transportation department. People say that it's almost like the individual drivers treat the schedule as more of a suggestion, not a policy or a rule. Really, you shouldn't be venturing too far out of downtown anyway, but we'll get to that later. The good news is Memphis doesn't have that bad of traffic, so if you do have a car, you're not going to have, much traffic to sit with, and that's compared to other cities its size. As always, we're going to get some people from Memphis talking about how bad it sucks. My suggestion to you is go to New York, go to Chicago, go to Los Angeles, and then get back to me on it. Number 8. Proximity. Memphis is on the border with both Arkansas and Mississippi, 2 of the worst states in the Union. This is the state equivalent of being on a 6-hour flight seated between 2 heavyset field hands that haven't showered in days, that want to explain to you catfish noodling like they took too many Adderall. That's kind of what they're sandwiched between. It's not pleasant. Number 7. Summer heat. Being part of the South, you know the summers are going to be hot and humid. Tennessee feels like they took it up a notch every time I visited. The highest monthly average temperature in Memphis is August, and that's usually around 85 degrees. It gets a lot hotter, but that's the average. Memphis does have the highest annual average for all of Tennessee by a couple degrees at 72. That means all year round, their average, you get it. I might be a little slanted on this one because I hate the heat. I've said it before. I'm not a big heat fan. I like nice cool weather. But it does get hot and humid for the entire summer and then some in Memphis. The good news is their winters aren't terrible. Number 6. The horse carriage. Know this before you move to Memphis. Locals hate it when you take the carriage rides downtown. These things are a public nuisance. Tired old horses that snarl traffic so tourists can pretend they're living in some romance novel they once read. The locals hate the tourists' insistence on taking these horse-drawn carriage rides through their busy downtown. They will judge you and maybe even let you know with a carefully chosen finger gesture. I've never understood the allure of being drugged behind a 1,000-pound animal's butthole. If I ever rode in one of these things, that's all I would be concerned about. Horses smell bad enough. What if they have a stomach bug and you're behind that thing? Something like that. Just get an Uber. Number 5. Taxes. If you're moving to and planning on buying a home in Memphis, here's some things you should know about the taxes. Thankfully, Tennessee does not have an income tax, so any money you make at your job in the city or the state of Tennessee will not be taxed. But because of this, the city spikes other taxes to make up for the lost revenue. The property tax here is above average, the sales tax isn't very forgiving, it's 7%, and the food is taxed at 5%. And since Memphis imposes their own local tax at 2.25%, this makes the sales tax in Memphis about 9.25%, while food in the city may be taxed at a rate of 7.25. I know that's a lot of numbers, but basically, it's like most places they don't really tax you for food, they do here, and that's kind of a bummer. The property tax a little high, not crazy, but you should just know about it. Don't just get all starry-eyed with rose-colored glasses and all that stuff thinking about no income tax. They get you other ways. Number 4, weight gain. Americans are the fattest people on the planet. And I'm not stereotyping, I'm giving you a statistical fact. About 40% of the US is obese. Now, I'm sure that doesn't shock anyone. Think about how many fast food joints you passed on your way home from work yesterday. The average is 9 fast food establishments. Fast food is almost never a healthy choice. Unfortunately, Memphis has the 3rd highest amount of people with a few extra pounds. I can tell you right now, it's their food. Some of the best food in the country are in Memphis. It's just too bad it's so fattening and it's hard to stay away from. It's that good. Most of you moving to Memphis will gain a couple inches around the waist the first couple years. That's just a fact, unless you're a vegan or whatever you feel the need to tell us about. That's what vegans do. Anyway, you're gonna gain some weight if you move to Memphis. Stay hydrated and eat a salad occasionally. You'll be fine. Number 3, the homeless. Now, I just did a video about the best places to be homeless. It's never a good thing to be homeless. You don't want to wish that on anyone, but you really don't want to be homeless in a lot of different cities. Memphis is one of them. Homelessness is a major issue in Memphis. To start out, the poverty rate is nearly 25%. That's not a good number. This is up from 19% in January of 2018. So roughly about a quarter of the population in Memphis is already living in poverty. As of 2018, there was about 1,200 homeless residents in the city. 92% of these homeless residents were sleeping in shelters, and the remaining 8% were found living on the streets. Of these homeless residents, about 240 of them are veterans, and about 348 were entire families. It's not a good number. Number 2, public schools. Memphis has about 115,000 students enrolled in public schools. That's a lot of kids, and that doesn't really seem to be encouraging the school officials to improve their schools, at all. They seem to be spending more time on getting guns in the hands of teachers than raising test scores. If at all possible, it's highly advised to spend a little extra cash and send your kids to a private school in the city. The average graduation rate in the Memphis school district is about 78%, and that's 14% lower than the national average. Not only is the general education here very poor, but these schools are incredibly dangerous, hence the guns in the hands of teachers. And before we get to number 1, don't forget the poll at the end of the video where you can answer questions to help out with the data for future videos. And number 1, crime. Every city has its good and its bad neighborhoods. Memphis just has an overwhelming amount of bad neighborhoods, opposed to any other city in the US. Maybe not Detroit. No, there's a couple other above it, but it's bad. The city was actually ranked as the 4th most violent city in the country for 2019. For every 1,000 residents, there is an average of 85 crimes. The likelihood that you will fall victim to any crime here is double that of any other place in the state. As of this month, the city's mayor has plans to cut crime among children by imposing a strict curfew at 11 p.m. for any individual under 17 without a job or an adult with them. The good news is the downtown area isn't terrible. The rest of the city, it's not advised to go there, really. Just stay out there. Stay downtown, try not to ride the horses and you'll be fine. But yeah, some of the areas there are pretty darn scary. Every time, as long as I've been doing these lists, Memphis always shows up on dangerous lists. It's bad. Alright, so that's my top 10 reasons not to move to Memphis, Tennessee. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you got some information out of it. Don't forget to subscribe if you already haven't. Leave me a comment. Tell me what you thought. Give it a big thumbs up. Everybody have a great day. Be nice to each other.